If the first Portal game has taught me anything, it would be you wake up from the same bed you're used to and decide to get up after days of slog, and you notice something different. Your room looks more like a jail cell. You decide to head out and try something new, a routine maybe? You take one last look at yourself and say, you got this, and move. While you're going through trying to do this thing, it feels unfamiliar and strange. The rigid and formulaic nature of your natural state is battling with this. While you think you're seeking help, it eventually starts to feel like someone is trying to control your life, telling you what to do and even how to do it at times. You glide along with this anyways, since you don't know where else to go or how. You think, this is the way. This thing that has guided me is really helping. But how is it helping? Is the way you're being guided a good way? Is the one guiding you doing it for you? Or is there a deceiving intention that is underneath all this talk? A way to move forward? Or a way to move sideways, backways, or stand still? You still don't know. It's all too much right now. The implications don't matter right now. So you decide to give the benefit of doubt and keep going along and hope for a good thing to happen. You can't even remember the last time something good has happened to you. You feel like you're doing something good for yourself. But are you? That doesn't matter, there are problems to solve right now. As each new solved problem creates an even tougher one, so that is where your focus is headed. As you're heading through the great corridors, the portal gun you've been holding for some time is now something you recognize as being kind of weird to the environment you thought you were in. The blue color contrasting with the orange for a perfect transition through what exactly? Space? Time? A continuum of space and time together? Is this even real life? Am I even real? Well, of course not, to break the fourth wall too much, but it's a fucking video game, I'm just being hyperbolic to fit my narrative. Maybe you're worrying too much, or worrying too little. It doesn't matter, since for the most part you're numb to this kind of, well, yourself at this point. And it doesn't really matter, since focusing on the task at hand makes you feel more comfortable than sitting down and focusing on what's inside. What's inside this room? A shiny ball? Bouncing wall? While a speaker is calling for your attention? As you distract yourself with more work that is making you feel more productive, at least compared to the you of yesterday. This is the best days. But as all things in the circle of life, it must change. And the direction is not always easily controllable. Some would say it's not controllable at all. Anyways, the cold, desolate stillness of your environment begins to have an effect on you. Despite the voice keeping you company, you feel more lonely than ever. You thought going out and doing something would make you feel more belonged, more conform to social groups. But now, with the self-isolation from even yourself at this point, the focus on your work feels a little bad. Part of your brain wants companionship, craves it even. Well, you're in luck. Coincidentally, a little something called a companion cube will drop soon. A companion cube? A cube is an inanimate object. How will this cure my loneliness? Well, at this point, you've been lonely for so long, it almost doesn't matter what keeps you company. When the cube drops, at first you're indifferent to it. Not sure even why this voice wants me to use this cube, or even how to use it. The heart on all sides of this thing makes you feel a little warm inside. At least enough to distract you until the next puzzle. The companion cube gives you metaphorical stairs to climb, which is enough in such a state to think that the cube is now cute. As you move on through the next hallway, the only thing keeping you from certain death is this cube. It stops the orbs, it pushes buttons, and without it, this problem could not have been solved. Whether this was intentionally put here or an experiment by some sick person, you've grown quite a liking to this companion cube. I mean, this is the first person, thing to directly help you along this journey. And being desperate, you almost fall in love quicker than with anything else. But unfortunately, all things must come to an end, even if that thing is love.
You did it. The weighted companion cube certainly brought you good luck. However, it cannot accompany you for the rest of the test and, unfortunately, must be euthanized. Please escort your companion cube to the Aperture Science Emergency Intelligence Incinerator.
The voice tells you the cube must be destroyed. No ifs, ands, or buts. In order to progress, the only friend you have in this moment must be destroyed. You reluctantly must, begrudgingly fuss, but must not cuss, for the trust is now busted. Wince words, I know, but it couldn't be minced any other way. Now that it's missed, and anger is in fits, you turn to your feelings towards the one who started it all, GLaDOS. The one who you presume is locking you in this cold experiment. The one who gave you love and then took it away, dangled it in your face. The one who bakes the cake and then fakes the make. While you can give in and give up and stop fighting for what you believe and know to be true, that's too easy. You would like to jump off the beaten path and find what's next. Explore, expand, conquer. You know what must be
Tell
done.
me, congratulations. Was it worth it? Because despite your violent behavior, the only thing you've managed to break so far is my heart. Maybe you could settle.
You walk in to meet your opposition. GLaDOS, the one that gave you a sad dose. That's in the script, and yes, I'm leaving it, fuck you. The one who's put you down for too long. The one who forced you to play by their own rules, and you were too weak to realize or fight back. Until now. You spent all this time being dragged along, you've lost yourself. This seems to be the only way you'll ever be free again. Be free from these rules, be free from this life you've been conditioned to be free from GLaDOS. While she puts up a fair fight and pulls out all the manipulative and gaslighting rules from the handbook, ultimately, your own perseverance brought her down. Throughout all of this, while you have been the victim, this reveals two things, and possibly more depending on your view. One is the idea of when you become comfortable, it becomes invisible. Call it what you want. When something is good or bad, it doesn't matter what it is. Once you live with it long enough, you become comfortable with the idea, you become less likely to see it for what it is and change accordingly. This could possibly describe why incels are so plenty. I digress. While at first you may recognize it as a bad thing, if you feel too weak and like your feelings don't matter, like Shell here, you will suffer the same fate. It could be something as small and simple as something in your routine maybe that you don't recognize anymore. Or something as big and complex as a porn addiction. We all have something, whether good or bad, we've become comfortable to and stagnant towards. This isn't to say I'm better or that it doesn't affect me. If it didn't, I wouldn't be here right now writing this. If I didn't go through the experiences not too different from Shell and GLaDOS' relationship, I wouldn't be the one who I am today. The only thing that separates me is I've had time to process all this and recognize my own self and how this trauma has affected me. This paragraph right here may very well be the most important thing I've said all video. However, you've made one fatal mistake. You did an eye for an eye. You brought down the one who brought you down. This action, while liberating you from the pain, ultimately brought you down to the same level as GLaDOS. If we are speaking in metaphors here, what could have been done differently? Block GLaDOS on Facebook? Ghost her? Tell her your feelings and why a relationship won't work? Well, based off of what we know, GLaDOS wouldn't take that very well, and most likely make the manipulation even worse. Once someone like GLaDOS feel like they're losing control, that is when they, metaphorically speaking, pull out the big guns. From my view, if you meet someone like GLaDOS, the best thing you can do is respectively let them down and move on with your life. You will, at the very least, move on knowing you were the respectful one, since all you wanted was to protect your energy and not be stabbed like a maple tree. Yes, I know they don't respect you, but they just wanted someone to love them. But they've been taught this is the way, and if I wanted to, I could go into a whole thing about GLaDOS' perspective and why she did the things she's done, even though they are remarkably worse. But this is the perspective I've experienced, and that is why I feel fit to write about this side. There are deep-seated reasons to it not even GLaDOS recognizes anymore. But with a number of things Shell could have done, the only thing that matters is what actually happened. Shell destroyed GLaDOS and GLaDOS ruined Shell for the time being. Shell is going to have to live with not only the confusing and painful trauma, but she has to live with the fact that at her most defining moment, it was sinking to GLaDOS' level. The important thing is that you recognize this, you're self-aware, and you're patient. With this, as you go through your new and confusing life, you'll be able to heal and become who you were meant to be. Whoever that may be, you are you.